With James Gunn now heading DC Studios and a new Batman film on the horizon, what can we expect? Especially since he's been treating the Snyderverse characters like he's Willy Wonka.
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
Come on, man.
In this video, we're going to discuss which heroes we might see in the film, as well as 5 potential villains we could see Batman and Robin go up against. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into this. Batman the Brave and the Bold was announced in the first slate of the DCU. They've already said that this Batman would be working with Damian Wayne, his son, with known villain Talia al Ghul. So that means he's already been Batman for quite a while. This isn't going to be an origin story. Or at least it shouldn't be. That also means it's incredibly likely that we're going to see other past Robins, hopefully ones like Nightwing, or even Jason Todd as the Red Hood. I know people have been wanting to see that character in live action for quite a while, and let's be honest here, I'm not going to count Titans.
Move this man!
I'm only counting the movies. If you've got a problem with that, fight me in the comments. I will not be swayed. And I mean, if they really wanted to throw us a curveball, they could always put in Carrie Kelly, I guess. But why? I've been wanting Nightwing in the DCU for quite a while, and I think this would be the perfect time to introduce him. They'd be able to put him in the film and have him have not only a rivalry with both Damian Wayne and Robin, since, you know, that used to be his job, but also Batman, who would have to come to terms with the fact that Dick is now old enough to be his own man and go out on his own adventures. And it would almost give a big brother, little brother kind of vibe between Robin and Nightwing, which could help for comic relief since I feel like this is going to be a pretty dark film. And we all know James Gunn loves his jokes. Plus, I know that James Gunn's not writing the Batman Brave and Bold movie, but honestly, if you look back at his Guardians of the Galaxy films, you can see there is a strong pattern of family being the focus of those movies. And it would make absolute sense to have the focus of Batman being about the Bat family. And Damian Wayne choosing to revoke the influence of his grandfather and embrace being a hero and a good guy with Batman, his dad. So even though James Gunn's not writing or directing that movie, that we know of, considering apparently it might be Andy Muschietti, but only time will tell. Editing Alex cutting in to say, since I originally recorded the audio for this video, some new information has come to light. Earlier this morning, June 5th, My Time to Shine Hello on Twitter came out and said that Andy Muschietti is in fact directing the film, with Christina Hodson to write. Both of them worked together on The Flash, and Hodson worked on Birds of Prey. So I guess recording these in advance doesn't help that much. Anyway, back to the video. It would just make sense that his influence would be carried over that film, since he's the head of DC. I'd be honestly very surprised if we see other characters from DC come in, especially ones that are more extraterrestrial. Like, let's be completely honest here, we're not going to go in and see Batman Brave and the Bold, and all of a sudden Orion's gonna show up, or Mr. Miracle. I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, if it did, that'd be nuts, and I don't see why they put him in there instead of Superman, but if anything, we're probably going to get more ground-level supporting characters. I mean, it wouldn't be a Batman movie without Commissioner Gordon, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Harvey Bullock in there as well. And of course, the greatest man who ever buttled, Alfred. And honestly, if they wanted to, they could absolutely put in Barbara Gordon as Oracle. I mean, since Damian Wayne's in the film, this is obviously post whatever happened to Jason Todd, and Tim Drake, and obviously Dick Grayson, so why not just make this a little bit of an older Batman, I mean obviously old enough to have a son, and have the mantle of Batgirl already been moved on. Have her be Oracle, put her in the chair. I think that makes the most sense. But the real question is, who are Batman and Robin going to be fighting? I have 5 potential villains we could see in this film. The most likely is going to be the Court of Owls. And I say that because that is one of the most popular storylines in recent memory since it kicked off the New 52. And people have been asking for the Court of Owls and Talon for, what, over 10 years at this point? So I wouldn't be shocked. In fact, I hope that's who they bring in. The Court of Owls would flip everything Batman knows on its head, since he basically knows everything about the city. Or at least, he thinks he does. Having a group of people who basically act as an anti-Batman would be pretty cool to see in live action, especially because he would not only be able to fight them as Batman, but also as Bruce Wayne. The next character I think they can bring in, who would really be dark and something I'd love to see in live action, especially after what we got in the Batman, is Professor Pig. Now, if you've played any of the Arkham games, you are definitely familiar with Professor Pig. Those minigames are horrific, and the interpretation of him in that, oof. I mean, just look at this. If they bring in Professor Pig, it would definitely have to be an R-rated film. And I don't think they're going to go in that direction. I mean, they could prove me wrong and put out an incredible R-rated Batman film, but are they going to do that? Or are they going to try to cast as wide of a net as possible to get in as many audience members as they can? Another character that I would love to see Batman go up against is the Mad Hatter. for basically the same reasons as Professor Pig. Just an absolute nutcase going around thinking he's the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. And they'd be able to do incredible psychedelic effects with this character and mess with Batman on a psychological level, which we haven't seen much of in the films recently. And Batman's supposed to be the greatest detective in the world, so I think they do need to lead into more of the psychological aspects. I mean, obviously there was the Batman, but I'm talking about other Batman. Moving on, we have the League of Assassins and Ra's you get it. Grandpa Al Ghul. Now, honestly, this entry and the next one on the list are the least likely, in my opinion, to show up in the film. And honestly, the reason that the League of Assassins is so low on my list is because we just had them as the overarching villains of the Nolan trilogy. I mean, think about it. We had Granddad Al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson in Batman Begins. Then he showed up again in Dark Knight Rises. Turns out he and Talia were basically behind Bane the entire time. Well, more Talia since, Granddad was a ghost, but, However, it would be interesting to bring in Grandpa since we do have Damian Wayne, who's his grandson. So he can almost fight between being raised by the League of Assassins at the beginning, idolizing his basically immortal grandpa, who is a ruthless man, then contrasting that with living with Batman. Personally, I think it'd be pretty cool to see, but I don't know if they're ready to bring these characters back just yet. And finally, leading more into the title, we have the Brave and the Bold. What's the opposite of bravery? That would be fear. Personally, I think if they really wanted to lean into that, they'd bring in Scarecrow. Have him use the fear toxin, and with modern day CGI, they could do insane visuals. I mean, as long as their VFX team is working hard enough, has enough time, and is being compensated enough. Otherwise, you end up with this kind of crap. Thanks, Marvel. And unfortunately, once again, it goes right back to what I was saying before with the League of Assassins. They just had them in the Nolan trilogy. Are they going to go right back to that well? I mean, they probably will, considering how many Jokers have we had since the Nolan verse? I mean, what, 3? We've had Jared Leto, Joaquin Phoenix, and Druig. So, yeah, I bet you they would. And you know what? Honestly, leaning more into a darker film, I'm fine with it. I think it'd be good. But honestly, I really do hope that they lean in really hard into the dark side, make everything a little more street level, and bring in some more down-to-earth characters who are just psychopaths for the sake of being crazy. They don't need to make the villain redeemable. Just make him a terrible, terrible monster. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see any of these characters in live action, let alone in Batman the Brave and the Bold? Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe for more, and check out the description for links to support the channel. Have a great day, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.